kill hogs, we give them heads
Okay.
and the backbones and feet. And one of the main men you'd come to help us kill hogs was Uncle Florence Russell and Aunt Molly. You know who Uncle Florence was?
No.
He was a black man.
Okay.
And my mother and daddy said, you will not call him anything except Uncle Florence and Aunt Molly.
Good.
And I would go over there. I would say, Billy, we're going to kill hogs in the morning. How about you go tell Uncle Russell and Aunt Molly to come help us kill hogs? And Aunt Molly and Uncle Russell was the best help you've ever seen in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And you have.
And cutting meat off of the bones, off of backbone and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
They helped make sausage meat, see. And then when they went home, you know, they always took the tenderloins out of every hog.
Yeah.
It's always out separate. Uncle Marty, Uncle Russell, and Aunt Marty would always take home a couple or three backbones, 2 or 3 heads,
That was that pay.
and they'd take home several tenderloins
All right.
and a good long piece of sausage made up in a gut.
It's good meat.
That's good. Okay.
So, Papa, what was your job in the hog killing?
Oh my
I
God.
could
Wow.
So you were the sure shot?
I
Oh,
shot him
my
with a
God.
.22 rifle.
Oh
Right
my
between the
God.
eyes.
Bill,
Yeah.
where would y'all
Oh my
put that?
God.
Where would y'all put the meat? Y'all had no refrigerator.
Oh, I
I would-
love it.
I would,
Did you get
Yeah,
this?
that's good. That's great.
I would send me out and said, Billy, put about 9 or 10 of these on the ground. So I stand out there, it was an automatic rifle.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Rifle. I'd put 8 or 9 on the ground, and he'd get there and roll him over, cut his throat and bleed him. If you don't bleed a hog, you have to bleed him quick before the heart quits beating.
So they can pump all the blood
to get
out.
the blood out.
Out of the body. Yeah. Right.
And then you hang them up. But before you hang them up, you had to drag them to the house. And we had a what we called a syrup kettle. We used to make syrup in it. Exactly a circle, about big as around this table is him.
I bet I know what he's fixing to say.
Then
Yeah.
we dig a hole in the ground, kind of like this, see, kind of like that. And we lay set that syrup kettle on top of that hole. We built a fire on it. And then when that water got hot enough, you know how hot water has to get before it will, before you want to put your hog in there?
What, how hot?
160 degrees.
Okay.
And Papa would always have a big old long thermometer. And he'd put it down in that water. When it got to 160 degrees, we'd get the hog and we'd put his head in first, hold him by his hind legs. We'd put him in there and leave him until you could reach down and catch the hairs and it'd come off.
When you
And then
love
we'd
that
put him
job.
off and lay him on
Thank you.
a big board over here, big board, like a 8 by 8 piece of plywood, something like that. And we get under him and scratch him and rake all the hair off of him. When we got all the hair raked off of him, we'd gamble him. You know what gambling is?
How do you gamble at
Not at all.
Do you know what a gambling stick is?
Sounds dangerous.
Huh?
No.
Okay. We'd cut the legs off of the hog right here.
Mm-hmm.
And right in here is a leader. We'd get a knife and go in between those leaders. And we'd hang the hog up on this gambling, up on this pole up here. And a gambling stick went from this leg to that leg, and you'd put it around that pole and put it back in, see.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd stand up there, and it just once in a while, a good long hog, we'd have to dig a little hole at the bottom where his nose wouldn't hit the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then Papa would get up there. He'd dip hot water, and he'd put it up on there, and he'd take his real sharp butcher knife, and he would rub them down, and then shave it, what little bit of hair was left on him. But if you got him too hot, the skin would come off the flesh. But if you kept it at 106 and below, it wouldn't come off.
Well, there you go.
And he'd clean them like that. And then he'd get an old butcher knife. He started the bunghole up here.
Yeah.
He'd circle that knife around the bunghole.
Yeah.
I'm telling you like
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
now.
No, yeah, no, tell me.
He'd circle around the bunghole. And then he'd reach in the inside the bunghole and the rest of the meat. And he'd get that skin. And he'd go right down that hog like that. He'd open him up. He'd open him up where he could get that bunghole and put it out, where it wouldn't contaminate the rest of the meat.
Rest of
Yeah.
meat, okay.
He'd get those guts, and he'd come down and bring them all down. And you'd have to catch them at the bottom in a big dish pan, or what we caught them in was a zinc tub.
Okay.
And we'd take those guts, put them on a big table, long as some hit over yonder. And that's what Aunt Marty and Mama and Uncle Florence Russell would get there. They would take the small intestines, cut them off,
Mm-hmm.
and they would take them out there and
Squeeze 'em out.
get the insides out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would put that in a tub of water over here. And they would take the stomach. That's the best part in the world.
Really?
The stomach has got the,
I love it.
what you call tripe. Tripe, you call it tripe in a cow. But you call it the maw, M-A-W, with a hog maw. And when you cleaned it, then you boiled it along with some small intestine, and they call that chitlins.
The
Oh, yeah.
chitlins.
And you eat chitlins and maw. Best thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Papa always told us that. Said when we used to have chitlins, and never had a lot of company around there, said we never did have enough chitlins to go around for everybody to have all they wanted. So Papa said when he sat down to eat chitlins, he'd always have some corn in his pocket, and he'd put some corn in his mouth. And
Oh.
while they was eating those chitlins,
Oh my
he'd
God.
pull some of that corn out, and he'd throw it on the table. Said a lot of them would quit eating them, and then he could eat all he wanted.
There you go. Strategery.
That's
I
great.
like it.
That's a great story.
That was a tale, but it worked, I think.
Sweet.
Oh my gracious.
It's extremely informative.